Hi, my name is Kenneth Horowitz. I'm a historical interpreter here at Delaware Seashore State Park and the Indian River Life-Saving Station that you can see behind me. Now, today we're going to get a close-up look at some of our artifacts that we usually aren't able to bring out for the public. But first, a little bit of background. This station was built in 1876 as a life-saving station, and then in 1915 it became a Coast Guard station. These men were assigned with patrolling the beaches here in search of shipwrecks, and if they found a ship in distress, they would actually rally the rest of the crew to perform a rescue. Now, when this became a Coast Guard station, they were still required to make these beach patrols for the first couple decades of the Coast Guard's history. And while these men were out on their patrols here at Station Indian River, they would come back every now and then with small copper coins. Now, at first, it was just a few. It was a small trickle of coins every now and then. And then in the 1930s, when they were stabilizing the inlet to our south, they started finding more and more and more of these. At first, they thought that this was something fantastic, maybe a pirate's buried treasure hoard. And because of that, people started coming down here to the beach in huge numbers to search for these small copper coins. The beach south of the station actually took on a nickname, Coin Beach. But when we started examining these coins, they're actually probably not a pirate's buried treasure hoard. Instead, they are actually from a shipwreck that happened here a long time ago. You see, the big clue is that when you examine these coins closely, a lot of them are English and Irish halfpennies, and they're dated between 1776 to 1782. The last time a halfpenny is minted in Great Britain, it is 1775. So these are all counterfeits. So while they might be from an actual shipwreck, they're all fake. So how do a bunch of fake coins from Great Britain end up here on the coast of Delaware? Well, in 1785, a ship called the Faithful Steward left from England and arrived in Northern Ireland, and its captain, Connolly McCausland, he was hoping to get rich quick. He had a lot of these coins on board his ship, and as his business plan, pretty good in his mind, was going to be to unload all these coins and get rich quick and then escape back to England before anybody noticed. Only bad news for him, some of these are pretty shoddily made. So these were examined, and some of them, if they really didn't pass inspection, they actually had a hole drilled through them to cancel them, and then he was told to get lost. He was sitting on a pretty significant investment, and he decided he wasn't just going to let all these coins go. So he knew of a brand new country just across the Atlantic, and we were taking as many coins as we could back then as a young United States. So he was going to bring them here to Philadelphia and unload them, but you can't pay for a trip across the Atlantic just with counterfeit coins. So instead, he took on the most valuable cargo that you could at that time. He took on immigrants to the United States. 249 people signed up, mostly families, to make their trip to the United States, start their new life here, and they set off in July 1785 and made great time across the Atlantic. September 1st, they arrived just here off the coast of Delaware, and just as things were getting dark, they couldn't see land yet, but they knew they were close, so they decided to just test the water, see how deep it was. They found themselves in about 20-25 feet of water. They were running up on the beach and fast. All of a sudden, the ship crashed up on the beach, and they had to wait until the morning to see exactly where they were. When the sun finally rose the next day, they found that they were only 100 yards off the beach right here on the coast of Delaware. Now, unfortunately for these folks, a lot of them did not know how to swim, and when they tried to bring the boats off of the ship, they actually were ripped away from the ship, and they were dashed on the beach, and their only hope of rescue was then gone. This life-saving station wasn't here for another 100 years, so while people from town came out to offer any help that they could, really the only thing that people here on the beach could do was watch as the ship finally broke apart under its own weight while sitting on the beach, and then all those people who were on board tried to swim to shore. Of the 249 on board, only 68 survived. And this was probably the biggest shipwreck to ever occur this far south in Delaware. And it's kind of ironic that our Coast Guardsmen here were finding all of these shipwreck coins. It's because of them that shipwrecks like that were rapidly becoming a thing of the past, just like the coins from the wreck of the Faithful Steward. If you're interested in getting a close-up look at these coins, you can come by the Indian River Life-Saving Station Museum and see them yourself, as well as learn about how the men of the Life-Saving Service performed all of their heroic rescues.